Hey, hello and welcome into the SupaNuggets video number 3. Today we will build an application that allows you to categorize your basket list with ChatGPT and structured JSON into real-time collaboration table. So as you can see, if I will just open two of the views, I can see on both that my list is changing. And actually I'm using this app every weekend because I'm using that with my wife to work on groceries. So this is something that is very useful. And how it works, the overview. So first, user pass the shopping list into the Next.js function. This Next.js function is requesting ChatGPT to categorize these items into the structured JSON output. I will show you that in the code in a moment. So that ensures that ChatGPT always returns the proper JSON in the proper format. Then ChatGPT returns the categorized output. We are parsing it additionally. Then we are saving that into database. And database returns the new record with access code. This is important because this access code and UID of the record will be later used to authenticate on the real-time table. So then user goes into the link that have the UID of the record and the access code of the new record. We are checking if the basket item even exists, and here is the authorization like request. Then it gets the basket item, and users, so two of them in this case, are subscribing to the topic public basket UID access code. This is important because there is low chance of actually guessing that code or end UID. There is nearly zero chance. This is something like you would need to know username and password. And then when user changes on his own table, for example X, it makes two things. First, it calling the update basket list, which is accepting the UID, access code and item, and then it's doing that in TDB and broadcasting this change to the real-time channel. And because other user is subscribed on this channel, on this topic, so on the same as the other user, he received that item was changed. Let's look into the code. So first of all, ChatGPT have this super nice feature of the structure output. So you can with Zot. Zot is the library that ensures the runtime types for JavaScript. You can create an object and type that later on will be always returned by the ChatGPT. So I have Z object, name, date, participants with all the types, so Z array, Z string and so on, and I can pass it as a Zot response format from the ChatGPT. And in our case, it looks like this. I have basket schema and basket item types, and later on the completion, I'm just putting the Zot response format, basket schema and basket. So in the return, I will got always this schema, so array of these items. I couldn't do explicitly basket process because ChatGPT had problems with it, but later on I can just adapt them to the proper format. So as you can see, later on I got the response and I'm parsing the basket. So I'm parsing it as a JSON and I'm parsing the basket schema with the raw data. Later on I'm processing this basket because I want to have format like key. So this is the category and here is the item boolean. So everything will be false because later on it's easier to me to fulfill the protocol. So I am parsing this process basket, so iterating over the all items and just processing the real item. And at the end I'm adding the basket item and returning the data. And from the other side, I have this basket UID, which you saw in the link, and I'm just checking if the basket exists, so basket item, UID and access code, and if it exists, I'm rendering the actual page. And this actual page is subscribing on the basket change payload, broadcast on event basket change. Basket change payload is just the event from the user side, what he changed and for what status. So that allows me to real-time collaborate on this stuff, and handling it as a DB change is requested here. So client update basket item, and this update basket item is RPC call to this function. And now from the Supabase. First, the table itself. So like you can see, the basket list is very easy table. It have access code, UID, and basket, which is the JSON B. That's why I need to ensure that the basket itself is proper JSON. And it inside have like the dairy and cheese 100G. I also have the original text just for the debugging purposes. From the policy perspective, I couldn't have any policy. I have only one that allows you to select the basket that you created, but it's not used in the code nowhere, because I'm handling this authentication with the RPC function. And now from the function perspective, I have function get basket list by UID and access code, and if you can see, I have just select from public basket list where UID is equals to the PUID and access code to the access code, and valid until is more than now. And actually this is enough to authorize some anon request. To the update basket item is checking if all the parameters are passed, then selecting the item and updating the JSON, only JSON. So like you can see, I have update set, JSON set, basket JSON B, and P category, P items. So for example, dairy, cheese to status boolean. And that's it. Very simple, super simple. I know that function may look a bit complicated, but with today's tools, you can write it in 5 minutes. And that's it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day. Code in the description.